What's up, homies? Welcome to another episode of the Homies Real Estate Podcast. Here's your host, Anthony.
I'm Angel.
I'm a realtor.
I'm a lender.
And together, we're going to break down this crazy real estate market. Today's story is rents. A report just came out that rents increased 19.8%. That's the median rents throughout the United States. And I'm sure some of you renters who just recently signed the lease are feeling that pain. So Angel and I are going to address, what that median rent looks like here in the Los Angeles County. Why it makes sense to purchase. What are some of the pros to purchasing as opposed to renting? And then ultimately, give a conclusion as to what we think might be the best solution for you. So, Angel, rents are 19.8% year over year. Can you believe that or no? Is that something that you're seeing out there in the real estate market right now?
Definitely. I mean, obviously we focus more on the buying side. We actually discourage renting, but living here in LA, I definitely seen. I mean, 2 bedrooms now are ridiculous. It's like at least $2,500 right now for a 2-bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely see it. I don't pay too much attention to rents again, but when I do see any glances or anything that's listed for rent, it is not a cheap payment for sure.
It is not a cheap payment, absolutely, Angel. And let me ask you a question. What do you think the median rent is for a 1-bedroom in LA right now?
At least $2,200.
Yeah. So what we have here, according to Zumper, is about $2,300 for a 1-bedroom, right? That's up significantly from where we were just a couple years ago, right? For a 2-bedroom, Angel, what does the median rent look like, or the average rent look like?
I would guess like $2,600
for a 2-bedroom in Los Angeles. Remember, this is market rents, about $3,000 for a 2-bedroom. Yeah. For a 3-bedroom, Angel, what are we looking at?
I'll just look at it right here, straight off of Zumper. $4,100 a month.
Yeah, just short of about $4,100 a month. So you can see, homies, that the rents are increasing, right? And I've had the pleasure of helping multiple buyers purchase investment properties, and they're placing renters in those units quickly. It isn't a struggle, and they're placing them in for market rents, for tremendous rents. I had a buyer purchase last year a duplex, 2-bedroom, 1-bath in South Central LA. Rented out that unit for $2,300. $2,300 in South Central LA. That's what the market rent is. I have another client who just purchased a property in the city of Downey, and their 1-bedroom is being rented out for $2,300. So you can see how much rents have increased significantly. And if you're a buyer, you can see that potential of, hey, maybe purchasing a duplex or purchasing a home with an ADU will help me offset my rents. I know, Angel, you went that route. Mm-hmm. So talk to me about your story.
So I purchased a property in Whittier, a duplex. My first time ever purchasing a house, my first time really having my own, like, paying for, in a sense, like a rent, right, or any housing expense. I always lived with my parents. So my main thing, and I think it's the same for a lot of buyers, first time home buyers, especially the ones who have lived with their parents and then they're trying to purchase, is taking on that responsibility, right? It's not even that you can't afford it necessarily. It's just wrapping your mind around what that payment is going to be, and like, oh my goodness, I have to pay this much every month, right? Mm-hmm. So that was my thought about it. I ended up buying a duplex. My rent is my mortgage payment is $5,100 a month. Mm-hmm. A month. And then I have my back house. It's actually, I could probably get more for it now, probably towards $2,700. It's a pretty big back house, 2 stories, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, its own 2-car garage. But anyways, my point to all that is I ended up renting it for $2,400 last year. And so that left me with about a $2,700 payment, right?
Yeah.
And the key to that, I think, more than anything, is the way my house is structured. It's kind of like two individual houses in a sense. My house alone, if I would have bought that as a single family residence, my payment would have at least been $1,000, probably $1,000 higher than what it is right now as a duplex, right? Only paying $2,700, I would have probably been paying around $3,700 for the front house that I live in. So it definitely, in my opinion, was a great investment. It kept my payment lower, and more importantly, the appreciation on my property already. Just I haven't even had it for a year yet. It's gone up tremendously. It's gone up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know exactly how much it can sell for, but I think at least $100,000 more than for what I got it for.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's crazy.
And you said it's $5,100 your mortgage. Angel, did you put 20% down? How did you purchase your first property?
No, I purchased with FHA, FHA loan, 3.5% down. So right now it doesn't make sense to refinance, and who knows in the future if rates do go down a bit, I could even potentially bring my payment down even a little bit more, right? But yeah, so 3.5% down. I'm very big on that. Like anyone who's looking at investing, looking at real estate investing in the future, and you just want to get in a house and then you want to rent that one out later, take advantage of the FHA loan. Especially, I would really look at a duplex option because you want to buy as much property as you can with as little money as you can. I think that's a good goal.
Absolutely. And if you have to afford that payment. But so Angel went in with 3.5% down, purchased a duplex. Now, if you would have went in with 20% down, your payment would be, instead of $5,100, maybe closer to $4,000 a month. So then at that point, I mean, think about it. If he moves out of the other unit, places a renter there, charges market rent, you're already starting to cash flow, roughly $1,000, which is amazing. So something to bear in mind for you people that are looking to purchase a property, maybe going to duplex, 3.5% down. Why not a triplex or a fourplex? Because I know they qualify 3.5% down FHA, but why not go that route instead?
So FHA is really, really hard. I think the best way to explain it is through visuals. So I don't know, maybe on the podcast we can do a visual on it, or on my personal page I'll do a visual on what's called the self-sufficiency rule. So essentially this only applies for 3 to 4 units on an FHA loan. Basically the total rents of all the units. So let's say you're purchasing a fourplex. Yes, you are required to live in one unit, but for the self-sufficiency rule, they assume that if you're not going to live in the unit, right? So if you were to rent all 4 of your units out, and how they get the rent is either if the house is already rented, they use the actual rents, or they use the market rent if if that unit is vacant, right? But anyways, they gather all the rents up for all 4 units in this case, and however much that is, you take 75% of the gross rents, and that must be greater than your mortgage payment, right? Then what happens many times is, I think all the time, I think it's almost impossible. I've ran so many scenarios with clients like, what do you think will work? You think will work? And it never has, where it's not self-sufficient for several reasons. A lot of times on a 3 to 4 unit, it's hard to find an empty 3 to 4 unit property. It always comes with one tenant that's paying $1,500 a month when it should be $2,300 to $2,600 a month, right? So they're not paying market value. Along with that, even if you're paying every unit is at market value, it's still hard to pass that self-sufficiency rule. Specifically here in LA and Orange County, it's almost impossible.
Absolutely, Angel. And then why not purchase a duplex, triplex, or fourplex with a conventional loan?
Yeah, so with conventional, it's for a duplex, minimum is 15% down.
Wow.
For a 3 to 4 unit, if we can get the Freddie Mac which is a underwriting system that we run your loan through, you could potentially do 20% down, but many times it's going to be 25% down, 3 to 4 units. So yeah, it's definitely not a little bit of money, right? So your payment's going to be nicer, but it also is like 15% down. That, a lot of people, that's all their savings, right? And it's not necessary a lot of times. So you don't have to put such a large down payment.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially here in LA County where prices are so high, that's so much money to put out of pocket. You're talking about 100, 200 plus $1,000 a year. So, really the key to leveraging as much as possible is going to FHA 3.5% down, because now you can qualify for a little bit more. You take that anticipated rent that you'll be collecting from the other unit, right, Angel?
Correct.
Apply that income towards your qualification amount, and now you can qualify for roughly $100 to $150,000 more. So now you're able to take, your qualification for a single family residence of 600,000 and push that up to 700,000.
Exactly.
And then in a world where prices are appreciating about 8% a year since 2013, you take now 700,000, multiply by 8%, you're looking at about $56,000 in appreciation in just 1 year. So that's where a lot of your value in real estate is going to come from here in Los Angeles County, because it's a very hot market where homes appreciate very well. So you're able to make $50,000+ a year in appreciation relatively comfortably. We don't see price appreciation slowing down. The only thing that may slow it down is if interest rates get to like 5.5+%, maybe it'll slow the market down a little bit. But until then, it just looks like there's going to be a lot of demand for the current supply that we have.
And also too, for I like duplex. I know people are always trying to keep their payment low. So two big ways to do it is obviously multifamily, duplex, or a condo. I like a duplex a lot more than a condo, right? You don't have to deal with HOAs. It's your property. Yes, you do have to deal with a tenant, which some people just don't want to deal with. It's just respectable. But your payment will probably be still less than a condo, or maybe around the same after paying out HOAs. And your home will, I think, definitely appreciate a little better than a single family. And remember, as California and Los Angeles continue to become overpopulated and more population, duplex and triplexes are going to continue to be more and more in demand, right? They're always going to be in demand, but just real estate in general. So it's always, in my opinion, I think it's the better investment. It does cost more out of pocket for sure than a condo for most times. But in the long run, I think it's a better investment.
Yeah, and I want to stick there, to what you said about the payment being a lot more affordable. So right now, rents have increased almost 20% year over year. Home prices have increased. I'm looking at the data right now for Los Angeles County in the last 12 months, 11.3%. So you can see that rents are outpacing our current appreciation right now. So that's one thing to consider. The second thing to consider is when you purchase a home, you have the ability to lock in a fixed rate, a fixed mortgage.
Yep.
And in locking in your fixed mortgage, you're price protecting yourself from rent inflation, right? From rents increasing another 20%, maybe 15% next year. So something to bear in mind. Initially, Angel, would you say if you go in with less than 20%, that it's more expensive? Like, is the mortgage more than what you'll be paying for if you rented the same property?
No, so rent's gonna be cheaper. For I don't know, it depends. Every situation is different. For me, myself right now, if I rented my specific house that I live in, it would probably be about the same. It would probably be about $2,700. Maybe can rent it out even a little more because it has a pool, so that might have a little bit of a, maybe get it up $100, let's say. But I also have to keep in mind utilities and, we share the same water and gas meter. So when I rent it out, that's something I'm gonna have to keep in mind, that I'm gonna have to pay for that. It's gonna be included in the rent. So little things like that. But give or take, it is actually about the same right now.
Oh, wow.
The rent, what I think I can rent it for versus what my mortgage payment is almost equal, or if not, it is equal. But in a lot of situations, to be honest, right now, because again, that was last year, right? Rent's gone up since last year, and also so have home prices. So with that being said, you're probably gonna pay maybe on a duplex maybe $200-$300 more than you would in rent. Just depends how much you can get for the second unit too. It's a lot of factors in place, right? But you might pay a little bit more than your mortgage payment or than an ordinary rent, but of course, you're owning the property, right? And not only are you owning your own unit, but you also have a it's a rental property, right? So it's a much better, it is much better, excuse me, in my opinion, if you can go the duplex route instead of continuing to rent. The only issue I think a lot of people have with the duplex route is just the amount of money needed for down payment and closing costs. Right? It's more than a single family home, but again, it is very, very doable.
Yeah, absolutely, Angel. So thank you for explaining that for us. I kind of want to wrap it up. So, we talked about how year over year rents have increased 19.8% throughout the United States. It's going to be very similar here for Los Angeles County. Over the past 12 months, home prices in LA County have gone up 11.3%. So you can see that it's even outpacing appreciation. Now, when you purchase a home, you're able to lock in a fixed rate, which will allow you to price protect yourself in the future from rent inflation and paying more for your housing. The best way to get a more affordable payment may be to go with a duplex, specifically using FHA financing, because it allows you to go with 3.5% down. So now you're able to purchase for a higher purchase price, which allows you to get more equity with the appreciation. And then also it allows you more options. It allows you to now rent one of the units out, help you offset some of that mortgage. So now you're only liable for, about 50-60% of it, because you're going to be charging market rents, hopefully, for that additional unit that you have. So that might be the best option. If you don't go a duplex route, or if you don't go a route where there's an additional dwelling unit, just know that mortgage is going to be a lot more than the rent for one unit. So right now, how much would you say a $700,000 home, a mortgage will be for it for FHA loan, 3.5% down? Roughly $4,500.
Probably more now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
$600,000 right now is about $3,800 a month. So yeah, maybe around $4,500.
Okay, so you see, so $700,000 home FHA, you're looking at about $4,500 a month. You're not going to be renting a $700,000 home for $4,500 a month. You're probably going to be renting it for $3,500 a month. Yeah. So just bear in mind that if you don't go the duplex route or the ADU route, you're going to be paying a lot more for a mortgage than you would in rent. But the positive note is that, once you get to 20% equity, you refinance that loan and you remove that mortgage insurance, which drops your payment. And then also you're building equity with home ownership, right? Because you're not just paying down your mortgage, right? And paying down the balance, but at the same time, the property is appreciating. And I can't emphasize this enough. Appreciation the last 10 years is about 8% in LA County. Take a $700,000 home, multiply it by 8%, $56,000 a year. You want to be extra specific, divide 56 divided by 12, and you're looking at, roughly, what is that, about $5,000 more or less a month in just appreciation, which is like pretty much what your payment is, right? So there's a lot of benefits to home ownership. With that said, Angel, where can we find you at?
At Your Mortgage Angel on Instagram.
At Your Mortgage Angel on Instagram. You know where to find us, at Tulovanos Group. We're on every form of social media. Thank you, homies, for listening to another one of our podcasts. I want to wish you all the best. Take care. Stay safe. Hey, homies, it's Anthony. This podcast contains my opinions and is for educational purposes only. It does not guarantee any projections and should not serve as a basis for any purchase or sale in real estate.